So welcome back again. In this particular part 2, I am going to explain it to you how we can able to write the formula in an application. I'll show you the demo itself in an application, how we can able to write the formula. So let me jump directly to the Excel part. I will give you the steps, and then finally I will show you in an application how we can able to write the formula. So as I mentioned, so what we will do here, I will just put it down so for the clarity. So in this two step, what we will do, step number one, we will go and create an element, okay. And in step number two, what we are going to do, we are going to write a fast formula, very simple fast formula we will write it so that you can able to understand. And then the step number three, what we will do, we will going to run the quick pay. We will attach, okay, we will attach the element, we will attach the element that we are creating at the step number one to any employee, okay. We'll attach the element as a part of the element entry, okay. Element entry is a, okay, element entries. And after that, what we will do as a step number four, what we will do, we will run the simplified quick pay, okay. We will run the simplified quick pay. And then step number 5, what we have to do it, we will see the results, okay. We will see the result, whether the calculation or the formula, okay, whatever the formula I have written it, it is giving me the correct result or not. So for doing it, as an part of this, what we will do, we will go and create a simple element, let's say general payment element, okay. And general payment element, we will use it. In this we will use input values, okay, because here we are learning it how we can write the formula using the input values. I will make another video where we are going to use how to write a formula using the DBIs, database item. And the third, if you are interested, I will show it to you how we can able to write the formula using the value set. Now this value set is, as I mentioned in my previous video also, is important for the consultant, those who have a background of Oracle ERP, because there we having a flexibility of writing the package and procedure, but in Fusion we do not have access to the database. So that will help you to hasten your calculation, okay. Here we can add only simple calculation, but there you have an option, you can bring any data from the Fusion database itself, Fusion database, okay. Now coming back to our today's assignment, so we'll create one element. This is our element name, and we will use any legislation, and the legislation we use US legislation. So it will be having a amount as the input, okay. And we will create our another input value which is of the type, like say for example rate, okay. So this we will going to create another, this we will create it user enterable. Now what formula we want to write it, okay. Amount, what we will do, we will ask user to enter certain amount, and let's say rate. Now when I am writing a formula, what I want, I will put it in the Excel sheet that the amount payable is of 10% of this amount, okay, whatever the amount. So our output should be, when we check the result, our output should be 100. So this result we are expecting it while we are writing the formula, okay. So this is the whole part is there. Now let me directly log into the application. So we will be taking these 4 things, that how we are going to set up in an application. Now I log in as a payroll accountant in an application, okay. You should be having 2 roles should be there, 3 roles should be there. One, application implementation consultant. Why it is required? For writing and for creating an element and writing a fast formula, because once the Oracle has moved to the Redwood theme and the responsive UI, some of the functions has moved out. Second, we required the HR specialist view all data role. Why? Because we need to retrieve the employee information. And third, we will be requiring the payroll administrator role as well. Why this role is required? So that we can add the element entries, we can run the quick pay, and we can see the results. So these 3 roles are required for implementing the full-fledged payroll itself. So I will logged in as a payroll accountant. This user already having 3 roles. So for creating an element, we'll go to the setup and maintenance, okay. Setup and maintenance, what we will do, we'll change this setup to workforce deployment, Okay, this one, workforce deployment. Under the workforce deployment, we will be finding elements and formulas. So this is the elements and formula we are having it. On the right hand side, you will see the required task. You'll click on this and go for the all tasks. Now under this, we have a both fast formulas, okay, and the elements. So first step, what we have to do, we will go and create this particular element. Okay, let's go and create a simple element for our calculation purpose. So we will be using this is a element screen, those who have used it or those who have seen it. If not, I can explain it in some other class. I will click on this plus icon. Okay, I'm creating a new element. I will choose this US legislation. Okay, we can choose any legislation, whatever the legislation you want to create it, you can choose it. Then primary classification, let me bring it up, and the primary classification we will use as a standard earnings. There are different types of element classifications are there, and you will choose this as a standard element. Okay, and I'm not selecting the standard classification. I don't want like automatically everything will be get created. We will create our own. We should be having understanding that how this formula all works. Continue. So what I am doing it, I am going to create an element. As I mentioned it, I'll just going to create a simple element of a general payment. So here I will give the name. Remember one thing, the date is very important, because otherwise I will not able to attach the element. So I will choose 1/1/1951 itself, no problem. You can keep it standard. Then give a name. Okay, I will give the name as a general payment. Okay, give the same reporting name, or you can keep it as a unique one. Sorry, not payroll, general payment. Okay, keep description same as it is. Okay, input currency will be US dollar, because this is under US legislation. I'm not making it as a, I'll choose this final close. Now those who want to understand or what are these values all about, do put your comment. I will take one live session, and there I can take your questions to explain about the different elements, different types of element, recurring, non-recurring, deductions, earnings, and for different legislation as well. Keep it standard assignment level. I'll make this as a non-recurring just for the simplicity. And what else we need to make sure, yeah, all is fine. And then coming back, we will keep flat amount, because we just want to test it, and maybe we can choose factor percentage earning also, but for this particular example we choose the flat amount. Periodicity, we will choose it monthly. Okay, calendar month. We can change it at the time of element entry as well. Choose the standard annualized rate for this. Don't choose any hours, because this is not based on the hours. Is this, no, it's not related to the retroactive part. Retroactive in this is arrears. No, I don't want to choose this as well for the overtime rules as well. Okay, simple. Now these are the changes I had done it for creating element. Just go through it. If anything you want to change it, go back and do the changes. Now what I will do, I will submit this element creation part. It will take like few seconds, maybe depend on the application speed. So it took little bit of time, but element is got created. So just show you the general properties of an element. Now this is based on the US legislation, so we can see so many input values are there. And in Excel sheet I mentioned that for our calculation purpose, what we will do, we will use this amount as one of the input value, and then we are going to create our own input value as well. Okay, because I don't want to use any of the standard one. I'll go click on the action, and then I'll go and create our own input value. So as I mentioned it, we will choose a name as a rate. I will give a default sequence of 30. Unit of measurement, we will just keep it as a number. We can keep it integer as well, so I'll keep this as a number. We'll display it, allowed user entry, and let me create this database item itself. And next, when I am going to create and show you the formula how to write using the DBA, there I will explain it to you. I have chosen this, create this as a database item. I am not keeping any other value, because this is user enterable, and then I will submit it. So what I have done it so far, created the element, and then I created the one input value. This step number 1 is completed. Now one more thing is there, we need to create the eligibility of this particular element, the who all are eligible uh, for this particular element. So we'll go and create an eligibility. So eligibility 01, I'll give this as a name. We have an option now for I don't know which payroll is going to be having in this environment, so I'll choose all payroll are eligible for this. Okay, and then we will submit this. So I have completed the step number 1. I have created the element. Under the element I have created the input value, and then what I did, I have created the eligibility as well. Now one more thing, standard processing rule. Why I am going to as a standard processing rule, just to say which standard payroll formula is created by the Oracle. Okay, so this is the formula is got created by the Oracle. I will just copy it. Now these are the standard processing rules are there. Again, if you want to learn about that, what is all about, just put your comment in a message box, comment box. I will explain to you. I am planning to take one session online, so there you can put your questions and I can explain it to you about the element entity creation or how to create an element itself. So here I will keep this as a processing rule as a simple. I am not changing it anything. I don't want to confuse it. Just understand it. So I just what I did it over here, from the standard processing rule I just came and I just select the formula which is got created by the Oracle. Okay, this one I will use it. I'll modify this particular formula. So my element part is done. Okay, one more thing, those who are having a understanding on the legislation part, well and good, but those who are new for the element part, let me show it to you. This is going to get created 2 elements. Okay, for the US legislation, for the non-recurring earning elements, depending on the 4 elements get created. Yeah, 2 elements are important. Number 1 is the earning results and the payment part. This is our base element. Okay, this is our base element, and these 2 we use for the calculator and the distributor, and this will use, now this will give me the result. Okay, if you see any other legislation, like for example non taxation countries, we will be having only the earning element, and for the earning element we will be having only one base element. But for the US we normally get a 4 different elements get created, just for the bifurcation understand, so you're not confused that we created a general payment element, but when I am seeing the result, it is coming as a part of the general payment earning results. Okay, this is a standard functionality of the Oracle. Now step number 2, what we will do it, we are going to create the fast formula. So for creating the fast formula, again navigator is same, from the setup and maintenance. From the setup and maintenance, we will use this workforce deployment, elements and formula is there, all task, and then going to the fast formula. Now here I am not, we can go and create the formula and attach to our processing rule, but what I will do, I will use the standard formula which was generated by the Oracle itself for this particular legislation. So formula should be there. Now this is my fast formula screen. Okay, this formula is already there. Now I will go and modify this particular formula. Now in this I will do one thing. See, this is my editor where I can write a formula. What I will do, I will correct it. Okay, and then simply I will come down. I will remove all these generated one, because we just want to understand the simplicity. Let me delete first everything. I am removing all the content. Let me remove these returns values as well. As I explained in the previous part 1, that for a fast formula we can have a multiple return value. So you had seen it. Okay, I'll keep this L value as a standard as a return, because we want to see the output. Now here what I will do, I will write the simple fast formula. So as we remember, the first thing what we can do is that we can write a comment. Okay, when I am writing a comment, I have to start with this particular notation, that / and then the asterisk sign should be there. We can write this formula is for I can put any comment, general payment. Okay, and you can put your name or whatever, so that we know that, and when it is get created. Here I make it as a close. So what I am doing it, whatever I am writing under these two, okay, this payroll will not processes. When I say compiler will not going to processes, it will get ignored. Okay, this is just for my understanding purpose. Like if I am reading this formula after few days or few months, I should be able to recall it, that what is the purpose of writing this particular formula. Even we can write this formula is get created by who, okay, on which date. So these are the things we can able to write it, like making it more understandable. So whatever we write under these two boxes or these two signs, this is not going to be get compiled. Okay, created by, okay, you can put the author name, that okay, who has created it. Okay, so I am just putting it over here, and then you can close it. So this is the first thing that we normally do it. Okay, second thing is that now as a part of our calculation, what we had said, that we will going to use the input values. So we are going to use two input values. So for input values, first thing we need to default it. Why we need to default it? Because if by mistake we are not user is not entering any value, so we should not get a compilation or runtime error. Runtime error is like, for example, 1 divided by 0 or something divided by 0. It is not, system will not going to understand. So these type of error we call it as a runtime error, and it is good practice and system that we should initiate, and it's a formula that we need to default the values which we are going to use it, whether we are going to use any DBI items or any of the input values, we have to default it. So what is the syntax for writing the default? So default for okay, which input value we are going to use? We are going to use input value as an amount. Okay, so this input value, where we had seen it, we have seen it in the as a part of our element. Now this element we are using, this formula is attached to that particular element, so we can directly use that input value as an amount. Okay, default for amount is 0. Why 0? Because it's of the type number or a money. Second is, which input value we are going to use it? We are going to use this rate. So default for rate is, again I will keep it as a 0. Okay, so this is okay, default for rate is 0. Now this is simple. So what I am saying is, I am initiating these two values. Now what we are expecting, that user will enter it, so this 0 will be get overwritten. So this is, if they are not entering it, they will consider, system will consider it as 0 value. Now what we will do, we will want to mention it to our compiler, to the payroll, that these are the inputs values which we are going to use. So inputs are, okay, inputs are what? Amount, comma, rate. So if I have some more inputs that we want to use it, we can able to use. So what we have done it over here, we have just used this input. So okay, let us type a mistake happen over here, let me correct it. Okay, inputs are amount and rate. So these two things are very much clear. The default is there, so which I am initializing it, and then we are mentioning it to the system that these are the two input values are there. Now here I can start writing the formula itself. So there no need to write begin or stop, something like that. Simply we can start writing our formula. Let us use one more thing. Let us use a local variable as well. So what I will do, I will use this L amount. Okay, I will use this L amount as my local variable, and I will store the value of amount, whatever the user is entering it from the front end, I will use it over here. As well as for the rate also, okay, I will use this local variable and I will enter the value whatever is coming. So what I am doing it, I am doing this as a my local variable, so that we can able to use it. So what we did, these are my two input values, and this is my local variable where I am storing the value of the amount. Now this amount value will going to be get entered from the front end. Okay, and then here I will write my expression in the sense what should be the calculation. Okay, now you have a multiple choices. Here I will show you just a simple so that you can understand. Now what I want, in an Excel sheet I mentioned it, that we want to pay to an employee based on the amount what is get entered, 10% of that, whatever. Now I am not explaining the business rule. Maybe at the end of this session I will give you one assignment, so you can practice that particular assignment. So let me do a calculation. Now here I have a value L underscore value. Now I can use it, or I can use another local variable, whatever you want to do it, you can play with it. L value is equal to what? L amount, okay, L amount into how much percentage? Percentage, what is going to be get enter? L rate. Now L rate we have not defined that we need to enter it as a part of percentage. So what I will do, I will use and divide by this 100, because percentage is always divided by 100. So what I have done, it simple. Here I have written a expression, L value is equal to L amount into rate. What is the rate? It may be, from our example, we will enter 10. So 10 divided by 100. So this will say, for example, if anybody is entering 1000, 1000 into 0.01, so 100 should come. So this is my expectation that the amount will going to be written as a L value. Now I will, if you want, I can show you how to debug the formula using the expression. Put in your comment section that you want to learn it. Now let me do one more thing. Let me purposely do one mistake in this formula. Okay, I had write a formula. Now I want to save this. So save this particular formula and then submit it. Okay, submit means that I have committed the changes what I want to do it, but I need to compile this. Okay, the status should always be the compiled status. So I will click on the compile. So it will go for the compilation. Refresh it. Okay, I refresh it. It is giving me an error. Now what is the error? How we can able to identify the error? See, there is a error at line number 10. Okay, I purposely did it because the syntax is inputs. So important part you have to notice that we cannot modify these. Okay, these are the Oracle standard syntax are there, or the standard nomenclature we have to use it. So this was the mistake. I did it purposely so that we can able to see how the error is going to be appear, how we can able to see the error and how we can rectify it. Save it and then submit. Now again I need to compile this because the status, compiling status is still in the error status. So I'll click again on the compile and it is submitted for the compilation. Compilation in the sense it is going to be checked. The system is going to check whether there is any compiler issue or not. Okay, the syntax or the variables what we have used it are used in proper way or not, and then refresh it. It will take a little bit of time. Yeah, so my compile status is green, which means there is no error in this particular formula. Okay, no error, there is no error. So which means that this formula is our compiled successfully. Try this formula. Okay, try this formula. Pause the screen, note it down in your notepad and use this particular formula. Simply use it in your payroll configuration. Done it. As a third step, what I will do, we have created the element, we have created the formula. I am not going to show you the processing rule, we will take in some other class. Now what I want to attach this particular element to an employee. So for that I will be requiring a payroll administrator role, which already I am having it. So to attach that particular element, we can either go and attach from the person management, or let me show you through the person management itself. And we have other options also. Okay, so person number, I will going to choose I know person who belongs to US legislation 4253. Yeah, we will use this employee for our testing purpose. So what we will do, we will coming to this. Now one more thing we have to keep in mind, whether the payroll relationship is attached to this person or not. So we'll go to this navigator on the right hand side from the person management. Under this you will find this payroll tab. Go to the payroll relationship, which means that person is eligible for the processing of payroll or not. Okay, this is giving me the relationship of the person with an organization going to pay or not. So if we can just check it, yes, payroll attached, and the payroll is semi-monthly payroll for this particular person. So yes, the person is eligible for the payroll processing and it will going to come. Now what we will do, we will go and attach the element. So we'll go to the element entries. Okay, and then what we will do, we will go and we'll choose the effective date. I am not changing because semi-monthly, so we'll process for this last 15 days. I will select our element. I will choose the effective date as same. I can change it maybe 25 also. It will not make much difference. And I will choose the element. Now this element name will going to be appear based on the eligibility. Now we are going to use this base element. See, when I has created the element, we see 4 elements, but only we can attach the base element. So here I will go and attach this particular element. Okay, continue. Now what we will do, we will choose this as an amount. So as I mentioned in example, we will enter 1000, and this is the input value that we have created it, correct? So I will choose this as a 10%. I am not putting percentage because we already incorporate that in our formula. Periodicity, we will change it to the semi-monthly because this is a semi-monthly payroll. So I will change the periodicity for the semi-monthly part, and then submit it. So what I did, I have attached this element to an employee. As a fourth step, what we will do, we will run the quick pay for this particular employee. So for running the quick pay, I'll come back again to the home page. I'll go back to the home page, and from there I will run the quick pay. So coming down, we will show for the payroll, yes, and we know the employee is Agarwal 4253. So for here we'll come down, we will use the simplified quick pay option. This is for our testing purpose. So 4253, oh, employee is not appearing. So let's search it again. Yeah, I run the retrieve UDEP, LDEP data, so that's why it was not appearing it. Simply, I'll go to the simplified quick pay payroll, and then here I can able to see the element that we have attached to it. So this is the general payment element we have attached. Now this is a screen for running the quick pay. I will choose this same. I'll keep it same, payroll name, regular, everything for the for this particular month. Then what I will do, I will submit this simplified quick pay process. It will take another few seconds for processing the quick pay. So what we are expecting it, we are expecting that output should be get generated as per the calculation we had given it. It will take a little bit of time. Now why we are doing it, this is my last step for validating the result, whether the calculation which I have done it is coming perfectly fine or not. Let me pause it for a few seconds until as this is not get processed. So I just pause it because of the slowness of an application. What you can do, you can increase the speed and to see the result, it's fine because the objective was to write a formula. So this is the quick pay is being generated. Now we need to see whether the result is got perfectly fine or not. So here, this is our element, correct? This is our element, and if we can see the result is 100, which is as per our the Excel sheet. So if I show it to the Excel part, so what we have asked for, or what we are looking for, that one user entered this 1010 the per 10 percentage, then output should be the result should be 100, which is coming perfectly as it is the way that we have written it. So if you can see the result over here, it is giving me the same result. So I hope this has make it easy and simplified how to write a simple fast formula. Now as a part of the assignment, what I want to give it to you, simply you can first of all you can use this particular example for your exercise purpose. Another thing what you can do, you create another element. Okay, simply what you do, forget about the standard one which is delivered by the Oracle, because our objective is to learn the how to write a fast formula. I'll give you a simple assignment. What you have to do, you have to write an overtime element. Okay, you create an overtime element. So step number one, what I want, step number one, you create an element. Okay, element name you give this as a overtime payment, and keep it simple. No need to confuse with the hours or whatever. You just keep it simple. In this, you create an input values. Okay, and create an input values over here. Amount, use the amount as a standard. We no need to overwritten over there. And then what you create, two more input values create, like normal hours. Okay, like normal hours you created, and then what you did, amount you are getting it, so get the per hour rate for this amount. So you can easily get it per hour rate. So per hour rate will be, now I'm writing a pseudo code, you use this in your formula. So per hour rate, how you can able to calculate, per hour rate is equal to my amount, keep it standard as a 30. Okay, this is what I'm going to use. So this will give me the per day rate, and then per day rate divided by, say 8 hours is my working hours, so then divided by 8. So this is my one portion, and then hours, say for example if I work, say for example 3 hours in a day, or whatever, if I am working in a month, say for example semi month, say for example 10 hours, so what should I getting? I am getting the payment of per hour rate into this. Okay, so my amount L pay, or the payment will be, what should be the L payment will be? Payment is the pay value part. L pay is equal to per hour rate. Okay, I'll keep it in simple, per hour rate into the normal hours. Okay, and then check it, do this exercise. What you have to do is that you have to create an element. Under this element, create two input value, and amount is already there, no need to create the amount. Create this input value as a normal hour, and write a formula as a part of the step number 2. You have to write a formula. This calculation, use it. So you will be having amount will be one of my input value that we are going to use it, correct? And the second input value is a normal hours. Okay, so use these two input values and see whether the result you are getting the result as per expectation or. Do this, it's a simple exercise, you can do it. And then the next session, what I will do, I will show you how to use the DBIs, how to use DBI, database items, for writing the fast formula. Now this is another strong tool where we can able to write the formula. Okay, so this is all about the formula part. So that's all we have concluded as a part 2 using the input values. Thank you for watching it. And if you are coming first time, you can subscribe it and like this. Put a comment, because I should know that whether you are liking it or not, and you want to understand little bit more about the payroll fast formula, because this is something I saw it that students struggle writing the formula, and they hesitate that whether we should choose the payroll for implementation. And I will tell you, the payroll in Fusion application is the easiest and the simplest one to implement. Okay, no need to hesitate, no need to feel scared. If you have any questions or queries, put it on the comment section. I will respond to it. Thank you all. Thank you very much. Have a nice time.